Hey, welcome back. So like I said, I'm going to start just working through my book for everybody. Um, you're welcome to reach out at my website, which is hostit.net.au, to be able to help you with anything that you like. I find a lot of people want to do some research into the properties and everything first. So I'm going to do that today. And really what we're doing is we're beginning at the beginning. All right. In the beginning of the book, here's the content. It says, is this for you? It's really something you've got to ask yourself. Is it for you? Hosting is not all rainbows, lollipops, and unicorns. It's actually hard work. I know people might refer to it as like passive income, but it's not. It really is hard work. You have to be a fireman. You have to be a preschool teacher sometimes. You have to deal with lots of different personalities. You have to apologize a lot for things that aren't even your fault. I remember years and years ago when I was training when I was a sales rep, and I went to this course, and the guy said to me, you've got to understand that it's going to be your fault no matter what happens. And that's very much with STR. It's your fault. It's your fault if it rains. It's your fault if the guest car breaks down on the way there. It's your fault if it's too cold, too hot, too whatever. It's your fault if the airline loses the luggage, okay? And if you can start to accept that, then you might be okay at hosting, all right? It's not for everyone. You really need to have good people skills and great communication skills, okay? So really think about whether it's going to be for you. Then you've also got to think about, you've got a lot of STR platforms to be on as well. And some properties are better suited to different platforms as well. Okay, we've got bookings.com, we've got Airbnb and VRBO. So they are the top performing platforms. I like Airbnb because it's simply very, very easy to use. Bookings.com I find very, very, very difficult to use. It's not very user-friendly. Some people are a whiz at it. But if you've got an apartment, like an inner city apartment or a resort-style apartment somewhere, say you're up on the Sunshine Coast, where I live, and you've got a resort-style apartment near the beach, be crazy not to be on bookings.com. Okay, because that's the type of people. We also call them avatars. Like, what type of people travel or do you think are going to be traveling to your property? And that's what we call them, their avatars. So I do a lot of dog-friendly properties and I do houses. Now, people that like to travel to houses or with dog-friendlies, often they like to use the VRBO platform. And is your property going to be suitable for short-term? When I'm saying suitable, sometimes it's like difficult to get access to buildings. Think about accessibility. I mean, it's not a no, but I find inner city Brisbane, I look after a couple of properties there, and it can be really difficult with swaps and tags and just things, and getting keys to people and trying to get into a building, and you can't even leave things. And so you've got to think about accessibility for guests is one thing. And then if you're thinking about an avatar, and say you're a dog-friendly person like I am, I like to make sure that I've got lovely fenced yards. I've got suitable flooring, like we do vinyl plank floors throughout my property. So I wouldn't want to have an avatar or host to an avatar in an apartment building on the 6th floor where there's no grass. We don't take dogs in those sorts of properties. So is your property going to be suitable? Also meaning, is your property going to be safe? All right. When I'm saying suitable as well, I don't know too many areas that I haven't been able to work, but don't say you're going to take dogs if it's not going to fit on the top floor. We're going to look at some research tools, because this is one thing that I do get asked a lot about as well, is how to do research into the area, particularly if you're either buying a property, and what would the setup costs will be. Now, if you're buying a property, that's a completely different thing, because buying a property, I would use what we call multiple strategies. Are you going to be buying a property? I've got some properties that are eventually going to be development sites. Okay, so we've put them on the short-term market now, because then you can you can just stop hosting when you want to stop hosting. You don't have a lease on the property. Okay, and I've got a lot of those in, like, they might be like little beach shacks. They're a little bit run down. We've renovated them to be nice so we can place them on the short-term market. But eventually they will be knocked down. Location can be interesting. Don't just think about tourist areas. All right, there's a lot of properties that do very, very well in regional areas, because if you think about some of the regional areas, you've got not a big choice. You've got either the dodgy hotel down the road, or you've got some, not so flash motel style accommodation. You may not be able to take a dog there, or it's not going to fit a whole family in comfortably. So location, if you're doing rural, they can do very, very, very well, either for getaway type stays. A lot of people like just want to get to a rural area. I co-host a lot of properties that are in very rural areas, and people just love them as an escape. And also on major highways, that would be traveling through traffic. I've got friends with properties in the middle of Nowhereville, honestly, and they do so, so well because there's not a great choice there for accommodation. And I remember going on a road trip up to Rocky with Mark, and we called into some, towns, Nowherevilles, and I tell you what, you look at the hotels there, and all the cars lined outside the doors. These places were booked. They were really heavily booked. Now, is it traveling sales reps like I once was? Is it traveling workers doing construction, doing road works? Some of those places do really, really well. Say if there's a big bridge being built or roads going through or something like that. So location can be very, very interesting, okay? And don't just think tourist or who would travel there. Think outside the square with that sort of thing as well. So I'll just quickly run through some research tools here, because the book is there for everybody to actually read, and you can always reach out to me with more questions as well, particularly if you're brand new to hosting or you're researching a property for hosting. So I'll get rid of this. Okay, escape out of that. All right, so I've got some research tools here that you'll see a lot of people using. And there is AirDNA. There's Airbnb's website itself. And Inside B&B is actually a really good one as well. So I'm going to go into just the basics, okay? You can find this on Airbnb. And I just randomly picked an address out of realestate.com to use to show you how this works. So you'll jump into this, and Airbnb is saying that this particular address here, and I know it's a 4-bedroom because I looked at its for sale sign, and Airbnb is saying it would be about $330 a night. That's a 7 nights, and that would be for a 100% occupancy. All right. So I'll jump into AirDNA, and they're saying here that the occupancy rate is 72%. Now, I actually think that's really good. It is down on last year, down 20%, which there is no surprise with the current economy, and there are less people traveling at the moment and a lot less disposable income with interest rates and the cost of living. So that's actually a really good number. And AirDNA, I find, comes in relatively conservatively. And we're looking here at 99% score. That's a great score. Yeah, 99 is amazing. And over here, we can click on these properties here. Whoa, I just clicked on it too. I'll have to go back. And it will actually show you the property. It'll show you its revenue from last year, its days that were available, its annual revenue. That, of course, is gross, not net, and its occupancy. So this one here that I've actually clicked on is running pretty close to what Airbnb was saying at $330 a night. So obviously things have dropped off a lot in the last year. January being low, that's interesting. Again, this is Brisbane, not my market. Well, actually, I do have some properties I look after in Brisbane, but I'm new to the Brisbane market. And then we've got a higher occupancy, and May is traditionally the slowest month of the year along with February, but then February picked up here. So when you're researching a market, it can be very wildly different to, say, a market that you've been in before. I've actually found that quite interesting. So you can go in there and you can look at all the little dots and you can click on them and look at how they're set up, look at their reviews, look at their how they're styled, look at their calendars to confirm what's going on. Now, AirDNA will do you a lesson if you want to subscribe to them. Okay, you're going to go in and you want to look at some one bedrooms, compare an apple to an apple. You might want to look at one bedroom. You want to look at, most of them here are on Airbnb. None are on VRBO. Oh, yes, they are. There's some on both. Okay, yeah, great. Okay, cool. I thought, oh, what? So, because you would have to have them on, you'd have to have properties on VRBO because they're houses traditionally in that area. So you can sit there, if you're a numbers person or a numbers nerd, they're great. You will love AirDNA. You'll just go nuts over AirDNA. And another one that's new around here is called Inside Airbnb. And again, it's the same thing where you'll click on or hover over, click on the dot. It's not as good as AirDNA, but this one here, this one's been available for 222 nights last year. It's only had 8 reviews, so it's relatively new. It's $121 a night. It's only a 2-bedroom flat. That's why that one's a little bit cheaper. So make sure you always compare an apple to an apple. And that one goes there. Bulimba Oasis private pool, hosted by Jennifer. Oh, it's only a new one as well. You would want to look at somebody that's been doing it for a while as well. Often I'll do 2 screens up. I'll have like either AirDNA, Inside B&B on one side, and then I have Airbnb's page on the other side. Okay, so you can swap between the two. So I will actually go into, I don't want to go into that. Let me jump onto Airbnb as well for you 1 second. All right, so I'm back here in actually Airbnb's website. Now you can do this on all the other websites as well, the platforms. This one's just easier for me to use. This is a private room here. But you can go through again and on the map, like I said, I have AirDNA on one screen and Airbnb on another. And you can pick an area and you might go, okay, yeah, I like the one down on this street because I'm looking at a house to buy down here or my property's here. And again, you can click on it. Now, I know this isn't the palm, but you might go through the photos. You might see how well it's laid out. These here are individual weeks. If you want to do specific dates, you can go in and do specific dates, or you can go in and you can clear the dates. We'll go in and say we want to look at sort of how something's doing for one night. One nights are harder to look at. See, a lot of people don't do one night stays, which, I wouldn't either, to be honest. Or you can clear the dates altogether and just randomly search. And over here, looking at filters, so you want to look at, say, an entire home. You want to weed out all the private rooms. Okay, but you do want to compare the same week or the same dates. And whether how many people are going, or how many people they fit, and do they take pets and things like that as well. Okay, so you can play around with that as much as you like. Big homes, little homes, then you click on one and then you might change the dates. You might go and look at their calendar. Say you like this one here, it's a guest favorite, so obviously they must do okay. And then you come down here and you might want to go and look at their availability. Clear some dates here. And you can see here that they're booked out here, but they're not heavily booked for July yet, August. So they don't have a lot of bookings coming up. If the occupancy is around 72% though, you've got to think that maybe a lot more people are booking last minute. Okay, so that is a thing that is a trend at the moment as well. A lot of people are booking last minute. So that's sort of what you do when you're looking for your research. Where are they on the map? That can be really important, particularly in some areas closer to the water. Something's got a view, something doesn't have a view. Look at the prices and compare an apple to an apple and the same date. So don't compare Christmas prices to June prices or something like that, or school holidays is going to be different, in June to September. Look at the calendar and how many bookings they have in the future, keeping in mind that currently there's a lot more people booking last minute. How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, that makes a big difference in price, like as in how big are they? Do they have pools? Do they have spas? All that sort of thing is really important. Who are they catering for? Are they catering to children? Are they catering for families? Are they catering to pets? Their styling, are they a very luxurious home, or are they more just a basic family friendly, or are they budget accommodation? All that's going to make a difference. And really have a look through their photos to see if you can identify an avatar. And another thing that's really important to look at is make sure that you always have a desk, a workspace. All right, that's kind of really important. Cleaning fees can be a tricky one if they're self-cleaning, if they're cleaning themselves versus someone that has a cleaner in, okay? Cleaning fees are quite a tricky thing because cleaners are not cheap. But I will in the future get into how to find a good cleaner, what I do with my cleaners, where I get them from, and how we utilize them and outsource to a cleaner, leverage off a cleaner, whatever wording you want to say, because I have a lot of remote properties that I don't go to, and my cleaners are everything to me. Have a look at the minimum night stays that a lot of these properties use. I don't go generally below 2 at all. Might sell what's called an orphan day every so often if it's a Friday or a Saturday, but I tend to not do one night stays. But in saying that as well, like everything is different. Every property is different. You might have a property that is in one of those go-through areas on a highway, between here and Melbourne, say, and if you've got a small one-bedder property or a little granny flat or a little, suite off your house there, and you say, so you've got a little suite and you might be doing a private room off your house, you'd be crazy not to do one-night stays in some of those places. And in other places, where places like near the Spirit of Tasmania, if you're near something like that, they're coming to the ferry to go to Tassie and come back. They only want to be there for one night. They're coming in from out of town. They're coming in from interstate. They just need somewhere to stay to jump on that ferry early in the morning. So it can really depend on your location there as to your minimum night stays. And also read the reviews as well. I find it very, very interesting to read property reviews, and that will actually help you with your setup as well. So hopefully that's helped you understand a little bit more about buying a property in an area, or working out whether your property is going to be suitable. And if you are at that stage of setting up and you're not really sure what you need or what to look for, certainly reach out to me at my website and I will certainly be able to help you. That is at hostit.net.au. Thanks for tuning in, guys.